Hey everybody, it's PDubs. Thanks as always for hanging out upstairs with us and for checking out the channel. And on today's episode, this is going to be my 2021 year in review for the iiRcade arcade cabinet. I plan on making several of these videos and publishing them very soon for several of these home arcade companies, but I figured we'd start with the iiRcade because the iiRcade technically is a single product. So we don't have like 20 different products we have to talk about and dive into. But then again, this product has gone through such a huge evolutionary cycle during its first year. So we definitely want to catch up on all the things that were good, as well as some opportunities for improvement and things we learned along the way. We actually need to go back a little bit over a year, maybe about 13 months. We need to go back to November of 2020, guys. And that is when November 5th, 2020, that was when they had their very first Game Brew Night inside their office in Skokie, Illinois, inside their headquarters. This is where a lot of upcoming fans who had placed orders, Kickstarter orders, got to hang out and party with Jong, meet each other, as well as really try out these machines for the first time as close as possible to release, because obviously the machines at CES that a lot of people saw weren't final versions of the product prior to release. I myself was there, got to meet a lot of great community members like Prentice, got to meet Jong in person, and had an absolute blast. Everyone had a ton of fun at that Game Brew Night, and we all really got excited about the arcade cabinet and all of its future possibilities, and we couldn't wait to get this cabinet in our homes. But if we fast forward to December 2nd, 2020, so just about a month later, that is when we got to see the very first iiRcade was hand-delivered by Jong Shin, as well as Michael, their executive producer. Although, what's up with that mustache, Michael? Oh my goodness, I'm glad you got rid of that caterpillar. That thing's dangerous looking. It was really exciting to see that Prentice, who was at the Game Brew Night, got to be the very first person to have an iiRcade officially in their home. I mean, come on, the CEO of the company delivered it along with his executive producer. They helped assemble it, and then they all got to play games together and have a really good time. It was actually a really heartwarming and exciting moment to watch. I know a lot of us really enjoyed it. And at this point, we just need to fast forward a couple of weeks to December 24th, 2020. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, Christmas Eve 2020. That is when the iiRcade game store did officially launch and go live with 36 game titles available. That's right, guys. If you guys recall, it was a year ago. This game store only had 36 games available for purchase and download. Obviously, a couple hundred games licensed, with more games on the way. But when it first launched, we had 36 games to pick from. And it's important to note at this time that the iiRcade only had 3 cabinet skins available at launch. You had the iiRcade Standard Edition cabinet, as well as you had the iiRcade Black Edition cabinet that did come with the optional Double Dragon artwork that you would actually have to apply yourself to the cabinet. Their Standard Edition, as well as the Dragon's Lair Edition, both of those cabinets came with the artwork pre-applied, but because the Double Dragon artwork was like an optional thing, and with the licensing deal that they worked out with the IP holder of Double Dragon, the artwork came separately. The goal was either you had a plain black cabinet, use the Double Dragon artwork, or you went and you got custom artwork elsewhere for that cabinet. And of course, the third option, as we just mentioned, was the Dragon's Lair cabinet. That's right, the Dragon's Lair cabinet was the other skin available. All of these cabinets were the same. The only differences may have been the premium artwork, premium Sandwalk joysticks, as well as the additional memory space. Dragon's Lair came with 128 gigabytes, same with Double Dragon if I recall. The standard iiRcade came with 64 gigabytes, or you could upgrade to 128 if you wanted as well. Now, when it comes to options and accessories and things like that, what's really cool is, if you think about it, guys, we're going to kind of fast forward here real quick, is when this cabinet was originally launched, we had 3 skins. But as of today, a year later, we have 9 cabinet skins, including Double Dragon, Retromania Wrestling, Dragon's Lair, Beach Buggy Racing 2, Space Ace, the original Standard Edition, as well as Toe Jam and Earl, as well as Sydney Hunter and the Curse of the Mayan, as well as the Mutant Football League exclusive edition cabinet as well. Lots of great editions, and if you want to get a plain black one, get a plain black one. Obviously, a lot of these cabinet variations or variants are sold out as of today. And guys, when you think about games, right? When this thing was announced, they announced they would have about 200 games licensed. But when the game store went live a year ago, they only had 36 games available for download. But as of today, guys, there are 268 games available for download on the iiRcade store. And it's been really exciting seeing the additions that have come to this game library, including partnerships with Taito, with Sega. Sega games came out this year. Taito games came out this year. iRcade games came out this year. If you love vertical shooters, this is a vertical shooter's dream. Collector Vision, ColecoVision, tons of games from Orange Pixel, Emu, a whole mixture of modern and retro games. Some games are in the top 50, some AAA arcade titles are in there, especially with the addition of Data East titles and things of that nature. So there are games to play on iiRcade, and there are some recognized games to play on iiRcade. But iiRcade, throughout the year, did not add any of the super, like, let's just say, top 25 arcade games of all time. They did announce, though, Space Invaders. Let's not forget about that. Space Invaders is usually one of the top arcade games of all time. But it's Space Invaders, guys. I mean, come on. It's really cool. It's a big win for iiRcade. Throughout the year, they added skins, they added licenses, they added games. And then starting in April, we started to see some really cool accessories and things come out for the iiRcade. And that includes on April 16th, 2021 was when the tempered glass screen protector was announced by iiRcade and made available for purchase. Now, this particular product has had kind of a mixed view. Some people feel that because this is supposed to be a premium arcade, these glass protectors should have been included with the original purchase instead of the acrylic plexi covers. I would actually have to agree with them. If there's two things on this cabinet that I think were missing out of the box when this thing came out, was real T-molding on the cabinet, as well as a glass screen protector. Having those additional features built into the high price of this arcade would have really added significant value, in my opinion. Now we fast forward just a couple of months, June 20th, 2021, iiRcade got a lot of their community and owners and upcoming owners excited with the addition of global leaderboards being announced to their platform. This was really, really cool in my opinion. This initial launch this year has seen 54 games out of their library that do support and have online global leaderboards. And also, don't forget, a lot of the modern games have their own leaderboards built inside of them as well. A lot of the games like Retromania Wrestling and Mayhem Brawlers and things like that, Rising Hell, all those modern games actually have leaderboards which are compatible with all other iiRcade owners built into those games. Plus these 54 games, I'm guessing as of today, there's probably 60, 65 games or so, maybe more, that actually support leaderboards in some way on their platform. So in April, we get our glass screen protector. In June, we get global leaderboards for arcade games. And then here in August, so it seemed like every couple of months, iiRcade kept rolling out the goodies. We did end up getting our Jukebox Mode feature. This was a feature that was promised. Although the Kickstarter goal for this feature was not met, iiRcade promised that they would give this feature, that they would roll it out to all owners. It's a free application, free to use. You're not obligated to use it in any way. Some people use it, some people don't. Some people love it, some people hate it. But essentially, you just, via using Bluetooth, you can connect your phone to your iiRcade arcade machine and use it as a jukebox and play some banging tunes whenever you're not actually playing arcade games. So now, guess what happens? Another couple of months roll by, and now we're in October. And on October 22nd, in a firmware update, in my personal opinion, the most important update iiRcade has done to their system so far was the addition of Scanlines, a track mode, as well as screen filtering options. So you could have pixel perfect settings for your arcade games. They got rid of that horrible, horrible smoothing effect that was on the retro arcade games. That didn't impact the modern games, but the retro arcade games did have that bad smoothing effect. We've complained about that with Arcade 1-Up. We complained about it with iiRcade. Both companies have listened to fan feedback. and given us pixel perfect. And not only that, iiRcade gave us a whole bunch of scanline options. You could choose whichever one you like the most. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no on, off, only one option available. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different options for scanlines to add to your games if you want to play with scanlines. iiRcade was kind enough to release in the same firmware update the ability for us to have an attract mode playing on our arcade machines. And this thing is really cool. Now, what's really nice is it's all supported by their server. You know, it gets downloaded to your system, and you just need to turn it on and say, I want it to go live 60 seconds of me not touching my arcade. However, you don't get to choose the attract mode. What happens is every week they rotate the attract mode, they change it weekly, which has its pros and cons, right? Pro number one, it's interesting because it's not the same and you're probably never going to get bored of it. And negative though is they might release an attract mode that you don't like the way it looks, you don't like the way it sounds, you don't like what games are included, and also you don't get to choose the attract mode, right? You don't get to choose the attract mode. So I'm hoping in 2022 we'll see in the future some kind of user interface and firmware update where we could actually, maybe they make all the videos available. Hey guys, we've made 25 attract mode videos. You pick the one that you want to play and we can select that. And that would turn this feature into a major win. Okay guys, and then finally we've made it up to November 2021, just last month. And what happened, my dudes? We had iiRcade announce, and then again, it didn't go live. They made an announcement, but it is a game-changing announcement that they will have online multiplayer for their arcade games starting in first quarter 2022. So just in a matter of months, classic retro games will start seeing, first in the beta, a handful of games that will play online. Now, how the online system's going to work, what features, is there going to be a cost, is there going to be a subscription? None of that stuff's been revealed as of today. I'm sure we're probably going to hear more about that come January. But as of today, that's how they have it set up, is that from what we know is they're hosting all the online play via their servers. Having online gameplay is a huge win for iiRcade. It's one of the features that consumers have been asking for since the launch of the cabinet, is we need to be able to play online games together. So coming up next year, first quarter, you're going to have classic retro arcade games in a beta launch, and eventually they did say all arcade games will be supported online multiplayer. And then coming up after that, modern game developers have the ability to opt in to get their games supported with online multiplayer as well, but that's going to involve some additional work by the developers as well as iiRcade to get the modern game co-op playing up and running. But whatever system, however they're setting it up, they claim it's totally possible for all the modern games like Retromania Wrestling and others to have online co-op gameplay. When I think about iiRcade in 2021 in its entirety, if you think about it, you have a young company, a startup company, a Kickstarter company that has won several awards. They've been named Best Holiday Gift by Newsweek, Best Arcade Machine by IGN. They're definitely an up-and-comer, but they still have a lot of work to do. They need to fix that user interface. They need to give us more options with that attract mode. They need to keep bringing more and more games. Because remember, this is a multicade. This is an arcade console, just like an Xbox, a PlayStation, a Switch in your home, but in an arcade form factor. You buy the system, and then of course you legally purchase and buy and add to your system more games just like a console. And it's actually been working for them. It's a decent business model, and it's been mostly successful for them. They're now selling out of all their cabinets, and they're expanding their user base, and they apparently have some big surprises for us coming up CES 22 in January. So we're looking forward to hearing what those are going to be. Overall, I think if you look at the year as a whole, from where this product started to where it is today, iiRcade has done a lot of great things, and they've done more great things than they have misses, such as the delays in the Mutant Football League release and delays in the Mutant Football League game and cabinet release, and small things like that. Overall, they did a hell of a lot of work within 12 months. You can't argue with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what is in the future of 2022 for iiRcade and what is possible, because according to Jong, anything is possible. Thank you so much, guys. If you enjoyed this 2021 year in review for the iiRcade platform, do me a favor, leave me your comments and feedback below. Let me know what your favorite moments were. What were your least favorite moments? Honest feedback and reactions below. Give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing.